Welcome back, everybody. I'm Teague from Battle City Games, and today I'm very excited to go ahead and bring y'all a Phantom Knights deck profile. This is a fun deck that can just put out a lot of different disruptions for your opponent's turn and provide you a lot of interaction if you prefer that over some of the bigger negate style decks. Alright, so let's go ahead and dive on in. To start off with, you have triple Phantom Knights of Torn Scales. This was a great addition to the deck out of Phantom Rage, as it is going to allow us to dump some of our Phantom Knight monsters directly from the deck to the graveyard in order to get our engine going, as well as being able to special summon itself back. It would be banished when it left the field, but since in most cases we will be exceeding with it, we don't actually have to worry about that clause, so we kind of just get to keep reusing that ability every turn. And then for our other three of in the Phantom Knight department, we of course have triple Phantom Knights of Silent Boots. This is one of the classic Phantom Knights, so it's just going to be one of our best extenders, as if we control any other Phantom Knights monster, we can special summon Boots directly from our hand, and also we can banish it from the graveyard to add a Phantom Knight spell or trap directly from our deck to our hand, which is how we're going to search out some of our pieces to end our combos. And then we are also playing triple Tour Guide from the Underworld. I know she's not a Phantom Knights card, and of course all of the Phantom Knights are warriors, but we do have a couple Fiends as targets for her in here that are really going to help get our engine going and result in some of our more explosive boards. From there, we have two Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak. This is just another one that we want to get into our graveyard in order to banish it to add a Phantom Knights card from our deck to our hand. And again, we have multiple ways to get this to our graveyard, and it's just going to help us continue to extend our plays. We are then also playing two copies of the Phantom Knights of Ragged Gloves. Again, this is one we want to get to our graveyard as quickly as possible, because we are able to banish it in order to activate the Foolish Burial effect to send another Phantom Knights card, and banishing Ragged Gloves for its ability will trigger the effect of our Torn Scales in order to special summon itself back from the graveyard. And then for some of our non-Phantom Knight monsters, I have chosen to go with double Psychic Wielder. I just really like Wielder because it allows us to special summon itself if we control any other level 3 monster, which of course all of our Phantom Knights are level 3, so that just means Wielder is a great extender in order to get into some of our plays. And then for our one-ofs, we have one Phantom Knight of Stained Greaves. Again, this is just one of our level 3 Phantom Knight monsters, and we can banish it from the graveyard to special summon a Phantom Knight monster from our hand. So if we get disrupted and we have this in the graveyard, we can just use it as an additional extender. And then the reason we are playing the Tour Guide in the deck is because we have the one Graph and the one Seer. This is not a Phantom Knight Burning Abyss deck. These are the only two Burning Abyss monsters we play in the main deck, but they just help us get into some of our strongest boards, since we can bring them off of Tour Guide, and then, spoiler, we can go into a Cherubini to start getting cards into our graveyard and extend from there. Another card that I like in the deck is the Virtual World Nyan. This is just really great because if she's in our graveyard, we can special summon her back to our field whenever we normal or special summon a level 3 monster. And then she would be banished when she left the field, but just as I mentioned earlier, because we will be, in most cases, overlaying with her, we can keep recycling that effect in order to always have her available in our graveyard. We are then playing the one Kagamucha Knight. This just allows itself to be special summoned whenever you normal summon a level 3 monster. If you don't like the 9/9, you could always take her out and bump this up to 2. Same thing with maybe the Psychic Wielder, but I like to go with a split on a few of them to give me multiple options. From there, we then are also playing two Danger monsters, the two level 3s in Jackalope and Tsuchinoko. These, of course, are level 3, so they fit with the theme, but also they are two of the best ones that guarantee no matter what, if our opponent hits them, we do still get a Danger monster onto the board, And again, this deck is just all about extenders, extenders, extenders. And then for our hand traps in the deck, I've chosen to go with triple Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. And then triple Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion. I feel like I say this in every profile, but I really do feel like these could be any 6 hand traps that you prefer. I just think that these are 6 of the better ones. But you could also justifiably go with something like Nibiru, or maybe even a Ciphering Gear Gamma. Moving on into the spells, we don't play many, but we have the 1 Phantom Knight's rank up Magic Force. This is going to help us get into some of our bigger Exceed monsters. And again, it's a Phantom Knights card, so that does make it searchable by several of our other cards in the main board, as well as some of our extra deck stuff. We then have the 1 Reinforcement of the Army. Phantom Knights are all warriors, so of course. The 1 Foolish Burial. Again, this just gets any of our Phantom Knights into the graveyard that we need there in order to get our plays going however we want. We also have the 1 Emergency Teleport. This is specifically to get the Nyan Nyan out, but if we open the Nyan Nyan and this, we can also use it to get the Wielder, since Wielder is also a psychic monster, so it's not dead even when we find ourselves in those situations. Then also 1 Book of Moon. This is just kind of a tech disruption option, but if there's something else you'd ever play in this spot, you could definitely do so. Of course, we don't want to get hit by any hand traps, so the last spell is going to be the 1 Called by the Grave, just to help ensure that our plays go through. Moving on into the traps, we are on triple Phantom Knight's Fogblade. This is what we're going to be looking to search off of our Bardiche and get as many of these to our side of the field as possible, because each one represents a effect negation in order to disrupt our opponent's turn. And then for the last couple traps, we have 1 Phantom Knight's Wing. This is just one that we can banish from our graveyard, just like Fogblade, in order to special summon back a Phantom Knights from our graveyard. And then one that I don't see a lot of people playing, but I really like, is the Raid Raptor Phantom Knight's Claw. This is a counter trap that says when a monster effect is activated, we can detach 1 material from our Dark Exceed monster to negate that activation, and if we do, destroy that card. Then, if the detached material was the Phantom Knight's Raid Raptor or Exceed Dragon card, 1 Raid Raptor card we control gains attack equal to the destroyed monster's original attack. Really, we're just looking at the effect negation. This, since it is a Phantom Knights card, it is searchable by several of our cards. So if we already have maybe our Fogblade, for example, then we can go for this in order to present that additional disruption on our opponent's turn. And then you saw how few spells we were running, so we are taking advantage of the fact that we can easily put Imperial Order into our deck without hindering ourselves. Going first, if you open this, it's just going to be a blowout against a lot of decks. Even decks like Dragon Link tend to rely on multiple spells in their combos in order to get things going. So opening on an Imperial Order can really hinder your opponent's ability to play the game and make it that much harder for them to play through whatever other disruptions you do have set up. So that's going to do it for the main deck. Moving on into the extra deck. For our Link 2, we have the 1 Cherubini Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss. This is just one of our best combo starters, and its ability lets us dump any level 3 monster from our deck to the graveyard, which means that it can get our Phantom Knights monsters to the graveyard if we need to do so. You may have noticed that Rusty Bardiche was recently removed from the limited list. You don't really need multiple in the deck, but I've chosen to go with 2 just in case something happens to the first one. If our opponent banishes it with any card effects or anything like that, we do have access to that second one, because this is the backbone of your deck, since it's going to allow you to destroy monsters on your opponent's turn, as well as to get your Phantom Knights traps directly from your deck to your side of the field. Then for our last Link monster, we have the 1 Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. This is the new Link 5 out of Blazing Vortex that says we can also use 1 monster our opponent controls as material to Link Summon her, and if she is Link Summoned, we can negate the effects of all face-up monsters our opponent currently controls. And this Link Summon card is unaffected by our opponent's activated effects unless they target her specifically, And then once per turn, when our opponent activates a card or effect that special summons a monster from the graveyard, we can negate that activation. Since we can use one of our opponent's monsters, this is very easy to make, especially with how easily we can get multiple monsters to our side of the board. So we can just use this to out something that would be more difficult to take care of, such as maybe a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon or something of that like. Moving on to the Exceeds, we have double Phantom Knight's Breaksword. This again is just a classic for the Phantom Knights deck. Going to make it with any 2 level 3 monsters. We can then detach a material to destroy itself and a card our opponent controls, or any other card we control, but usually you'll be destroying itself. And then when it's destroyed, we get to special summon 2 Phantom Knights back from our graveyard and increase their levels to 4. So again, this is just one of our big combo pieces. You'll usually go into it on your first turn and go from there. Moving on, we have one number 75 Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. This is just actually a really easy to make disruption, as we can do it with any 2 level 3s. And if you're concerned about Nibiru, you can get this on the board and then ensure that your opponent will not be able to Nibiru you as you continue your combos. We are then on the 1 Levier of a Sea Dragon. Phantom Knights all banish themselves from the graveyard to activate their effects, so of course we're going to play the Exceed, but let's just special summon them back to our side of the field from the banish zone. For our rank 4s, we have Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon. This is only here because we need it in order to get into one of our bigger monsters. We have the 1 Raiders Knight. This is a great card, but you don't go into too much. But when we do make it, we can detach a material in order to exceed a rank 5 monster on top of it. That monster is destroyed at the end of our opponent's turn, but we have some ways around that. And then for our last rank 4, we have the 1 Evil Swarm Nightmare. This is actually a great disruption that not too many people expect. It just says that when our opponent special summons a monster, we can detach a material and then change that special summon monster to face down defense position. So no, this will not be hitting any link monsters, but we can hit the monsters our opponent summons on the way to those links and put them face down, which means they can no longer be used as link material. And the fact that this equals 2 disruptions and is not once per turn can make it extremely difficult for your opponent to actually play through. For our rank 5 targets, we have the 1 Arc Rebellion Exceeds Dragon. This is one of your options to go into off of Raiders Knight, since it says that it cannot be destroyed by card effects, meaning it will stick around, and this is one of our best OTK enablers if we find ourselves in that position. We then have the Dark Requiem Exceeds Dragon. This is what we will be going into on top of the XYZ Dragon. We can use rank up magic in order to go into this, and then get multiple negations off of the ability. And then the last 2 cards I just think is kind of fun to have in here is going to be Raid Raptor Blaze Falcon and Raid Raptor Revolution Falcon Air Raid. So these Blaze Falcon is a target for Raiders Knight that says we can detach a material and then target a monster, we can detach 1 material and then destroy as many special summon monsters our opponent controls as possible, and then inflict 500 damage to our opponent for each monster. And then Revolution Falcon can actually just exceed summon itself on top of Blaze Falcon in order to prevent Blaze Falcon from being destroyed by the ability of Raiders Knight, and then also has the ability to detach materials in order to destroy cards our opponent controls. So just another fun little option. Maybe if you need to get some burn in because you're about to go into time, you can use these in order to get that win. So that's going to wrap up the deck profile, guys. I'd love to know what you think. How do you feel about Phantom Knights in this format? A lot of people were predicting this deck to be a lot better than it has been. Do you think that's from lack of representation, or is maybe the deck just not up to par how people thought it might be? Go ahead and let us know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe, because we do have new content every single week, so make sure you don't miss out on any of that. Till next time, I'm Teague with Battle City Games.